We're here, Mr. Whitehouse and I are here with regard to the updated memorandum of understanding between Sussex County and the Office of State Planning Coordination. As you may recall, there has been an MOU in effect since about 2003, and it's one of those things that we needed to take a look at and update. There were some recent events about a year or so ago that really gave rise to this with regard to memorializing the process for amendments to our future land use map. So let me back up a second. This MOU takes care of two processes. One is the standard land use development process. You know, if somebody has an RPC or a subdivision or rezoning, that goes through the PLUS process just like it always has. And as you know, we get the PLUS reports before we have the public hearing on those development projects. The second part of this MOU deals with amendments to the future land use map. And as I mentioned, this is an improvement over that process in a couple of ways. One is it allows the party who is requesting the land use map amendment, the person who owns the property or has an equitable interest in the property, to participate as a party to that PLUS process with regard to the future land use map. The second thing is that it establishes that the PLUS process doesn't happen until after the Planning and Zoning Commission's had its hearing. Previously, the Office of State Planning Coordination required just the county to go in front of the Office of State Planning Coordination for PLUS review on a future land use map amendment, but we didn't know anything about it because it was the first step in the process. That was somewhat and is somewhat upside down because it sort of presupposes that the county is in favor of this amendment to the future land use map, when really at that stage of it we don't know anything about it yet. And so with this memorandum, we go through the hearing process, planning and zoning, then it goes to PLUS, then when it comes to county council, you will have a PLUS report so that you can evaluate whether that PLUS report is sound or not, or if you want to follow it or not, based on the reasons that are given in the county council public hearing. But it spells all that out, and it's a much more logical process. I think it's more in line with due process for the county and the applicant, because there's a freer exchange of information before we have to go through the PLUS process. And so that memorializes it. One thing that I do want to point out that was in the 2003 amendment, it's in the state code, and it's also in this amendment, that the final decision on all land use matters, and specifically the final decision on the adoption of the comprehensive plan, is that of the county. So that's memorialized in this MOU, and that's based on the language that comes straight from Title 29 of the Delaware Code. So, you know, this is an improvement over the prior MOU based on, you know, just some lessons we learned going through some previous ones, and I think it's better for certainly the public. It's better for a landowner or an equitable owner of land that may have to go through a future land use map amendment. It's better process for, frankly, for state planning coordination. It's a better process for Sussex County as well. So.
Any questions, council? Questions, council?
I just want to be clear that this is giving the applicant the right to address the planning.
Right. So how it would work is it gives the applicant the ability, along with Sussex County, to present, you know, the reasons why the future land use map amendment would be appropriate.
We're not speaking on their behalf; they're representing their own case.
That's correct. That's correct. It would sort of be, I think, the way it would work. I mean, because it's our future land use map ultimately. And so, you know, if we're up in, or Mr. Whitehouse is up in front of the Office of State Planning Coordination, he would introduce it by saying there has been a request for an amendment to our future land use map. With that in mind, here is the party requesting that amendment, and turn it over to them.
But this only governs the amendment of our map, the county's map. It has nothing to do with the state's levels.
No, it doesn't have anything to do with the state strategies mapping. Only our future land use map. Yeah. And I will tell you, too, to that point, one of the things we looked at, this process follows what we do every 10 years on a comprehensive plan. Because if you think about it, when we go through that comp plan process, we have all the workshops, then we have all the public hearings, then we send the whole thing to the Office of State Planning Coordination. And so this really just follows that model. You know, when we have to do, or somebody asks to do amendments in between the 10-year comp plans. So,
more questions, council?
Consistent.
And I do think this is a great improvement, having been up there for public hearings when the people who are asking for the map change really can't speak. They get 3 minutes of public comment, that's it.
Right.
This is much more fair, I think, to everybody. So,
And I would point out, Mr. Vincent, just for anybody who takes an interest in this, that is a public meeting, and the public still also gets a chance to speak as well during those plus meetings.
Right.
So they have time limits on that, but they do get to speak.
Do you have a motion?
I did not prepare one, but I can do one off the top of my head.
I'm sure you can.
Hopefully. Mr. President, be it moved that Sussex County Council adopt the amended memorandum of understanding between Sussex County, Delaware, and the Delaware Office of State Planning Coordination with regard to the State Plus process and coordination with the Office of State Planning Coordination.
Pleasure, council.
Move for adoption.
Motion, Mr. Hudson, second. Mr. Schaefer. Questions on the motion? Take the vote, Mr. Schaefer.
Yes.
Mrs. Green.
Yes.
Mr. Hudson.
Yes.
Mr. Riley.
Yes.
I vote yes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.